Damn, I thought the frame rates dropped. Sorry. Anyways, welcome everyone to the absolute worst podcast of all time. On YouTube, you are watching RantCast. I am not going to argue about the MCU. Matter of fact, there are good stuff about the MCU, and then there are people that say that fuck women. No, I'm not kidding. Now, granted though, I won't last this rant cast for long. I mean, I do plan on doing another podcast in the future, but this time it's a little bit more of the gaming edge wise. More of me talking about video games, me talking about gaming news, etc., all that kind of stuff. Me talking about gaming conventions too. It's just it's just mostly a gaming podcast, and I don't want to go out of my way and say that you're only strictly doing PlayStation because you're a PlayStation fan. And I get it, and I don't care. But let's talk about the MCU real quick. What is the MCU? The MCU is a cinematic universe. And the less I say about that, the better. Now, granted, though, you cannot deny the faculty that everyone knows the MCU as a whole. Basically, there are MCU fans, and then there are comic book fans to say that this is bad and they are grifters. No, I'm not kidding. Seriously, they go out of their way to hate the MCU because of women. Mind you, that's kind of a dumb claim when you think about it. Because, well, yes, these are people that pretty much want to support comic books. The reason why they turn out to be grifters is because of the environment they were raised in. For example, Geeks and Gamers is pretty much became a grifter because he was born in this generation, and that generation dealt with the I don't know. I don't want to say the whole independence stuff or something like that, but I think it has something to do with the civil rights movement or something. Yeah, civil rights movement. So even if he was born during the civil rights movement, there. Oh, sorry, got distracted. There is no possibility that geeks and gamers can go out of their way and say that, oh, I managed to do this better because I know myself better and I am very gamer related, or I boost my content in order to gain more subscribers. Like, he boosts his content a lot, and he even got Star Wars Theory to get involved in it, and I very much feel sorry for Star Wars Theory, not because of this, but because of this. So, again, obviously, this is not something I would want to underestimate. However, you can't pretty much deny the faculty that, yes, some gamers are going to get mad about this. And also, I might have to change the thumbnail. I think it still says the pilot, which it should not say that. So let me just, yeah, hold on. Let's see what I can do here. Editing. I should find the thumb. There it is. Change it to. I swear I still had the other thumbnail. It's just that it's covered up with my private files, I guess, or whatever you want to call them. But wait, is this it? I think this is it. Yeah, the MCU controversies. This is only part one of this, so again, just try not to cope much because again, this is not a coping podcast. This is a rant podcast. So again, these are opinion based. I'm not going to complain that this is obviously stupid, but it can be if it gotten too much worse. Now look, not everyone is going to agree about the faculties of the MCU. Everyone knows their opinions, and we move on from it. If everyone hates a specific character, they move on from it. If people decided to rant about it and talk about nasty stuff about it, well, they move on from it. But the problem is that Kevin Feige goes out of his way to make things worse in terms of quality and quantity. Because quantity over quality is not a subtle fact. Because again, you want the quality of the story to work. This is what happened with Star Wars with like Ryan Johnson trying to make a new Star Wars series, which you could tell it kind of failed. But in terms of like damage control, no. Damage control doesn't partially exist in the MCU. You may get rage baited by the fact that the MCU has the best women ever. Turns out that is a fact. And I'm going to explain the why. Captain Marvel. Yep, Captain Marvel. One of the greatest, most best, awesome superheroes of all time. Way better than Captain America, way better than Iron Man, way better than every single MCU character. And Captain Marvel definitely does the ranks perfectly. She is a full on Mary Sue. She doesn't need men, she doesn't need women. She needs herself. Pride is pride. She only cares about the LGBTQ. And I love it when Brie Larson does her line that I don't need a man in order to I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, but in all seriousness, the MCU does have perfect women, and women can do nothing wrong. Okay, but seriously though, um, there are a lot of people like Nerderotic and Geeks and Gamers say that the MCU is full of women and there's not enough men, or there's not enough white men and there's only a lot of black men. Needless to say, I definitely agree with Captain Planet said, and that is a fact. I think that most people would technically see this as a threat. Now, granted though, Captain Marvel, in theory, is not my favorite character. It's obviously the fact that it's Captain America, which you can kind of tell. But I only like Captain America just because he's awesome. That's it. Like, it's not about his strength, it's not about his fucking durability. It's about his wits and his thinking. And he's also a dude. I'm getting ahead of myself. Alright, no more shit. The controversies that revolve around the MCU is partially due to Iron Man, for example. Like, okay, fine. You hate Iron Man because he's this kind of character and he's not like the character from the comics. Big deal. However, if you think about it, Iron Man has been around for generations to come. And he has always been done badly anyway. So having Iron Man be like this instead of, well, the comics, I say it's an improvement. I don't like him in Civil War or Endgame, but it was an improvement. The only thing I kind of feel sorry about is the Iron Man death scene because Robert Downey Jr. really did pull off his best works, and I can't deny it. That one is something I can agree on. And the way that Iron Man does his thing, like I am Iron Man and snap his fingers, all that kind of jazz, it doesn't really do a whole lot of things. Mind you, if it does pay off well, it pays off well. If it doesn't pay off well, the movie bombed horribly. That is it. Also, Moeller, whatever you go by, if you're watching this, I literally watched Batman and Robin to prove a point, not to make an assumption. So please do not harass me on Twitter or rant on Twitter, for example, because Twitter is a toxic place. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. What does that make me? Am I a grifter? It depends. Because there are two types of grifters. There are the rage baiting grifters, and then there are the grifters. The critic grifters are some people that I definitely agree upon. And while they do have some scientifical detail about themselves, they're not likely a species that I can relate to. Or rather, they're species that are very bad people in general, and you should stay far away from them as possible. Now, when I say species, I'm talking about a different kind of race. They are not like humans. They don't act like humans. They are very toxic. They are very crazy. They act like a different type of species that, while in theory is not too difficult to underestimate, it's not intense. Like, for what it's worth, if you think of Grifter can obviously rage bait, that's just them rage baiting. That's not another species. That's just a human race just acting like babies, you know? Like, we're babies. We're never going to grow out of our diapers or whatever. Why am I spitting everywhere? But overall, I do have an opinion with the MCU in some parts. Number one, the characters. The characters are really fluent, and that's it. I don't really find every character, ironic or funny or endearing or just sappy. I just find them fluent, like it's a space opera for some reason. And yes, Guardians of the Galaxy is not an example for, like, this. But Guardians of the Galaxy, for example, did something like a cartoon. And guess what? It didn't work out. It just made it worse. Please, for the love of Jesus of mighty of all ball, man, move on. And yes, I do support bald people. Do not say no. This is the problem when I have with the MCU, is that the MCU products are misleading or just not really correct at all. Like, for what it's worth, in the comics, Nebula has the Infinity Gauntlet, not Thanos. So in Endgame, it should have been Nebula betrayed Thanos and she has the Infinity Gauntlet and now has to fight Iron Man. That should have been the entire movie. That should have been it. That should have been the final payoff. And should have been something that like inspired more people to read the comics more. But instead, Thanos has like the Infinity Gauntlet 2.0, and he's about to snap his fingers until all the Infinity Stones are gone. And then Iron Man just put them in the gauntlet and it just did his line. I don't want to talk about it. I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk about it any further. Guys, if you want to see a good analysis on what grifters actually do in their spare time, or what grifters are like in some way, shape, or form, and how they disrespect art, the Birdman is an example. Yes, I am bringing the Birdman in this because the Birdman is not realistic. Because let's face it, we've all watched the Birdman for his cinema sins. So let's just not try and make this a debate any way, shape, or form. I'm trying to be civil here because, we need to be civil. We cannot act like monkeys. Actually, that comes to think about it. The Eternals are mostly like humanoid robotic creatures, right? And the human race is split with the genes of a mutant and an inhuman, right? So how do like the Eternals live with the X-Men and the Inhumans? I don't understand. Like, I genuinely don't understand at all. Is my mic not like working properly? I don't think it is. Hang on, let me like boost up the audio a little bit. Okay, I boosted up the audio just a little bit, just so that you can hear me more. I'm sorry, it's just I don't know what's going on with my settings right now. I just flipped them like flipped all the time. I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways, not to mention the faculty is that not every MCU character is amazing. Some of them are just a gray blob. Some of them do not work properly. Some of them are not like the Green Goblin. And that is a fact. See, I care more about the DC universe than the MCU universe. And that's a big leap in logic. Like, you have to be very crazy and very precisive in order to say these types of things. And I get it. Not everyone is going to be a fan of the DC universe because, again, it's pretty much outdated itself, even though it definitely has the best Superman film ever. Like I said, not everyone is going to like Superman. Everyone hates Superman. Why is that? Because Superman wants to be evil and that's it. Because that's kind of like what Warner Brothers does. And I'm not going to go on a tangent where Warner Brothers is at fault and Superman did this. No. However, what about Captain America? What about him like betraying the United States and siding with Red Skull and Hydra? What was that about? Was that like a different kind of universe? Or was it the same universe that basically like was like House of M or something? I have no idea. I'm gonna be honest with you. I never read the House of M series because again, way too long, way too prohibitive. I no. Yeah. I think when it comes down to it, just note that the MCU has really good storytelling, has really good visuals, has really good potential to be something better. But with Secret Wars and Avengers Doomsday coming out, I'm hoping that they can do a payoff. Because again, Fantastic Four, A plus, but Avengers Doomsday? Will this really break the internet? Will this be something that geeks and gamers, Nerderotic, the Critical Drinker, Molar, everybody are going to talk about because this is going to break the internet? Just saying. Because honestly, we are going to see a lot of grifters going out of their way to just be mad about the MCU no matter what. And I think that's all I have to say for now. But yeah, still though. Overall, I like the MCU, but it's not fun. I miss when the DCEU was also cool. It had cool visuals, it had cool infidelity, and heck, the Flash movie was not that bad when I saw it. Sure, it may have some bad moments, but still, just overlook those and you'll be fine. But yeah, still though, I am a big fan of the DC universe, and I hope that Rocksteady or whoever's in charge of the Warner Bros. Like gaming industry can just pump out a really good Superman or Batman game, and I will play it no matter what. Also, I'm not going to play Kill the Justice League. That's not going to happen ever because you already know. Do I look like the Joker? People have always said that I look like the Joker. That's an episode that I do want to make. Tune in next time when I talk about something mysterious, something mainly bad, or something that really gets to your skin. And even then, I will always see it coming.